Yeah. Okay. You guys, why don't you guys join on time? I can guess one reason for that because yesterday I wasn't on time myself. That could be one reason. But yeah. Now ask your friends to join. Okay. If you have people who are joining the bootcamp along with you, please ask them to join now. Okay. Until then, let's not waste the time. Since you guys have joined in early, you should be having some benefit for that. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask that. Because we only have less than 10 people, I can even unmute you right now. Any doubts? Ram, Shivanand, Vaibhav. So, how are the assignments going? Are you able to solve the questions on your own? Okay. I forgot. The chat is disabled for you. Yeah, I have enabled it. You can ask it now. बताओ भाई. Seven assignments in total, or have you solved assignments from 7 topics? Both the things are good, but if we talk about the PAP process, just solving 7 assignments is going to be is quite less. 7 questions, right? So yeah, make sure you're solving more. Okay. Jagan, please go ahead, bro. Do you want to ask something? Yeah. Ready? You guys raise hand, then I ask you to unmute and you don't ask doubts. I've been seeing this from the past 3 lectures. When will the interview results come for PAP? Good question. So you can see all these details on the PAP selection page. Result announcement. So the results will be announced after 30th November. So yeah, just a second. Yeah, results will be announced after 30th November. What result? So basically, the results for the PAP process. Pay after placement, right? There is a pay after placement option in which you can enroll in the course and pay only after you are once you get placed, right? So that is also one of the options. So maybe you have joined in between. This is something that we keep explaining. So this bootcamp is primarily centered around the pay after placement process only, right? So till the time the other friends are joining, let me just clear it out. So if some of you still don't know what pay after placement is, so AccioJob is an online upskilling platform, right? In very simple words. So we offer courses, right? We offer courses in JavaScript, we offer courses in Java, right? So these are the two languages where we offer courses. What do these courses teach you? These courses teach you the basics of programming, then data structures and algorithms, which are very important when it comes to your software development interviews, right? As a fresher, if you apply to any company, everyone is going to ask you DSA, right? Then we focus on backend and frontend. So this is the whole idea of the courses, right? This is what we teach in both the courses. Now, in these courses, you can apply in 2 ways. One is where you pay the tuition fee upfront. You can just pay the tuition fee in advance, right? And that too not in not in one go. You can pay it in EMIs, but you promise to pay it in advance. So that is one way where you opt to pay for the tuition fee, and then you will pay for the placement fees once you get placed. This is one. This is one, you can say, one possibility, right? This is called as semi pay after placement, where we take half the money from you in the name of tuition fees, and once you get placed, you are going to pay as the placement fees. The other option is pay after placement, where we don't charge you anything in advance. you will only pay the tuition fee as well as the placement fee. So basically, you will pay one sum of money, like a particular sum of money once you get placed, right? So these are the two tracks. So one is semi-pay after placement, where you pay roughly half the fees beforehand and then half the fees after the placement. One is pay after placement, where you pay the entire fees after the placement, right? So that's why all of you, most of your friends are interested for pay after placement, right? That we will only pay once we get placed, right? So this is the basic idea. For pay after placement, there are these classes, then you attend the assignments, then you basically write your coding test, then you give the interview. So there's basically two steps to it, right? Obviously, solving an assignment is anyways important for your learning, but there are only two things that you have to do, right? Write the coding test, pass it, then give the interview. So if you clear the coding test and the interview, you will be allowed entry in the pay after placement, right? Why do we take a test for pay after placement? Why can't we enroll everyone through pay after placement? So the only reason there is to check your seriousness, right? We only allow pay after placement to the students who are very sincere, who are very serious, for their career or for their upskilling. So what is the metric that we check for your seriousness? Nothing. We just take a very basic coding test and a coding interview, right? If you pass that, we feel that, okay, this student is good enough, this student is sincere enough, he or she already knows some basic programming. So yes, this person can be a good candidate for the pay after placement, right? The reason for taking this is we can't hand it out like a candy, right? We can't hand pay after placement to everyone who is interested, right? Because if a person with a casual attitude opts for pay after placement, he's just going to waste our time. If someone proves their worth by passing the coding interview, we allow them to sit for the pay after placement. And the reason why we are so strict here is because once you enter the course, there is some cost that we have to bear, right? Once you enter the course, per student, we have to spend some money to upskill you, right? Because we have to pay for the instructors like me. The teachers like me are also going to charge some fees, right? So we are going to take some money from AccioJob when we come to teach you, okay? Because why will we do it for free? We should not, right? Then there's a fees associated for the doubt instructors, for the doubt assistants, mentors that you have, right? Live doubt hours where you can go and ask your doubts. So those people are also going to ask for some money, obviously. Then there are a lot of other operational costs. Primary cost there is the employees that AccioJob has hired, right? So AccioJob is a full-fledged company. People like me and my colleagues work there, so they have to pay our salaries also, right? So that is one of the cost associated. Then after that, when you go forward with the course, when you go ahead in the course, there will be mock interviews scheduled for you, right? People who are working in the industry, people who already have 2 3 years of experience, so people like me or people even more senior than me are going to take your interviews, right? They are going to give you feedback, and that feedback is going to be real, because these are the people who hire freshers for their companies. So whatever feedback they give you is going to be based on that level. So point is, all these people that I have counted here are going to ask for some money to work, right? Otherwise, who would work for free? And if we want to assure quality, we will have to pay them, because like you can either hire a good instructor like maybe like me by paying more money, or you can hire you can hire anyone to teach DSA. But that's the thing. If you hire anyone to teach DSA, they will not be able to teach properly. Students will not be able to understand. And as a result, the experience will be very bad. So because AccioJob ensures quality at every step, AccioJob has to pay a lot of cost per student, right? So when you don't pay, when you opt for pay after placement, AccioJob is going to pay on your behalf, right? So that's why it's very important that we only take serious candidates. Otherwise, we will be paying on behalf of that person, and that person is just going to take the course casually, and maybe after 2 3 months, he's just going to, stop studying. What will we do in that case? In that case, we will have wasted a lot of our money on the upskilling of that student, right? That is why if you opt for pay after placement, we have this process that you have to go through. If you promise to pay the tuition fee in advance, in that case, it's fine. In that case, we can say, okay, you have paid the fees, like go ahead, get upskilled, right? So there we are not going to stop you. Okay. I have completed Python, C, and currently working on DSA with Python. Is it okay? Himanshu, why not? That's also a very good way to go about it. You're doing it in Python. That's fine. Not good in English. How can I learn? My mother tongue is Kannada. The course or online or offline. So Shivanand, bro, the course is going to be entirely online, right? And as far as the English point is concerned, one practical suggestion that I can give you is most of the times it's not only about English. Okay, I'm clarifying it in the beginning. Be it Java is a programming language, be it JavaScript, another programming language, or be it English. The primary reason that we hesitate in speaking is because we are shy, we are not confident, right? So the only practical advice that I can give you is start talking in English without caring about whether you are right or wrong. I know a lot of people, my maybe my people around me, people in my like people who live around me, and maybe some shopkeepers or maybe some other people. I have seen them speak English, right? Some of them are not grammatically very good, but they are very confident. So they are able to convey their thoughts properly, right? So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that you should not learn grammar. You should say anything that comes to your mind. No. But all I'm saying is, as a first step to learning, English or any other language, communication, the first key is to be confident. If you are confident and you don't know the language that well, no one is going to question you. Confidence is very important, right? That's one thing. Okay. Baki, that's all you can do anyways. So basically when you join AccioJob, there's one, I just got reminded of one thing from your question. There is a soft skills section also, right? Let me just show you. So guys, what we see here, right? What we see here, this portal, this whole web application that you have been using for the past 7 to 9 days is the pre-course portal. You can see pre-course, right? Because you guys have not yet joined the main course. So this is the portal that you see. Let me give you a short tour of the main course portal, right? What extra offerings are you going to see once you join the main course? Let me just show that to you. So this is how the main course looks like. Because this is my account. I am Bhavya. I am an instructor here, right? And because I am teaching pre-course this time, I am not having any upcoming class here. But when you will join as a student, you will be seeing your upcoming class here. Okay. Every day you are going to see your upcoming class in this section, right? Then let me walk you through the various other factors. Okay. Modules. So what happens is, again, this is the last batch that I taught. I taught the last batch in July, right? And then after that, I've been busy with other things. Okay. So you can see these are the basic topics that we have seen as well. So there also I was teaching the introductory module. And what can you see here? See, basic input output, right? Hello world, variables, data types, taking user input, conditionals, right? Then loops. Then you can see all these articles, prepositions, verb, pronoun. So what is this? These are the English grammar things, right? So there are sessions around these things as well, right? Anyways, then you have loops, loop classes. Then you have all these things. What am I trying to show you here? What I'm trying to show you here is, this is the page. This modules page is the one in which you are going to see all the classes which are scheduled for you. And the latest class will be placed on the top and the older class will be present in the bottom, right? So you can see the latest class, which was on 2nd August in that batch, is basically scheduled here. From here, you can select all your courses, right? So again, this would be a little bit less relevant for you because you are seeing the portal for a teacher, right? For you, the portal is going to be the same, but you are going to see your courses here instead of some random courses that you might be seeing here. You will be seeing your courses here. Okay. And you can select any of your course from here. Maybe you are currently in, let's say, a particular course. You want to see the recording of the previous month course. So you can just select it from here and all the classes, all the recordings will appear here, right? All the recordings will appear here. And here also you can see, right? The latest class is on the top. And then you can see as you go down, you can see the previous classes. Okay. So this way, all the classes you can see and all the questions of that particular class. So let me just show you. For example, third class of recursion. Recursion 3 basically means third class of recursion, right? So you can see all the questions scheduled for that day. In this, some of the questions are solved in the class like we do, and some of the questions are solved are basically given for homework, right? So let's say I solve a question, and now I will give a very related, very similar question to you to do on your own for homework, for your practice, right? So this way, this page is going to be the most frequently visited page for you guys, right? Because this is where all your classes will be present, all your assignment, the classwork, the class assignments will be present, right? And what we claim is, because the curriculum is so strong, the questions that we have added here, classwork and homework combined, right? Even if you, let's say you are very lazy, you can say only classwork questions also. The questions that we have placed here, if you solve all those questions only, if you only solve all those questions, right, the questions that we will be giving you alongside the lectures, then also you can get placed in any company of your choice, any company of your choice, right? I'm not limiting here. I'm not saying a basic company with 5 LPA CTC. No, maybe there's a company which offers 20 LPA CTC. You can crack it with these questions, right? Provided you solve them honestly, you solve them completely, right? Not just for the sake of solving, right? So that is what we claim. If you solve all the classwork and homework problems that are given to you, topic by topic, then also you can crack any company of your choice. And the good thing about this is, you can just, you can just choose your topic, and you can just, go and practice that particular question. For example, you want to, let's say, practice strings, and you want to solve all the classwork questions, you can just go to that from here, right? So this is my favorite page of the portal, right? This is going to be very useful for you. Okay, then you have the gym. Okay, so basically gym is again a very important page for you, right? As a main course student, this will be your go-to place. Once you're done solving the classwork assignments, now you want to solve more questions, right? Let's say I want to solve loop questions. So when you will join the main course, and when you will ask me, sir, how do we revise a particular topic, or how do we go about a particular topic, you will always receive one advice from me: select the topic, solve all the easy questions for that, and then go to the medium ones, and then if time permits, go to the hard ones, right? That is what I will always advise you. So let's say you are beginning with loops, you are going to select the easy questions, right? Problem status. So you do not you would not want to solve the questions that you have already solved, right? So what I'm going to see here is unattempted questions. So this way I will see all the unattempted easy loop questions, right? All these questions belong to the topic of loops. All these questions are untouched by me. I have not attempted these questions, and all these questions are easy, right? So this gym that you see, you can see the company filters here, right? You can select the company of your choice. So let's say you want to basically apply for Oracle. Oracle is having a particular drive, and now you want to apply for Oracle. You can just select Oracle, and you will be seeing the questions, filtered on the basis of company, right? That if a particular question was asked in Oracle in the past few years, there is a very high chance that it will be asked in this year as well, right? So this is a very relevant filter as well. So what I'm trying to show you here is, all these filters, all these features have not been added in the last 1 day, or the last month, or the last 2 months. This is an iterative growth that the platform has seen, right? When we first started 2 years back, we did not even have a portal, right? Then maybe 1.5 years back, we started having the portal. We started building the gym. Earlier, the gym had only a few questions, only 200, 300 questions. Right now, it has over 2,000 questions, right? That's a lot to practice from, right? A lot to practice from. If you solve all these 2,000 questions, first of all, no one does it. Second of all, it's not even required as well. But we have 2,000 questions so that if you get all the variety that you want, right? These questions have been handpicked from all the famous coding websites, and only relevant questions are present here, right? So I'm including CodeChef, CodeForces, HackerRank, SPOJ, right? The one that you see, then LeetCode, GFG, IB, everything. So it's a combination of all those things at one place, right? And we have added all the relevant questions. So maybe a new instructor comes in, he says that we want to add this question also. So we get that question added. All those things are there. Original questions are also there, right? The questions that we have created, the questions that you will not find anywhere else on the internet, right? So those questions are also present here. So you will see a lot of questions here. That's the summary of what I'm trying to say. Then once you join, we will be having weekly contests, monthly contests. So let's say I teach you something in a week, and at the weekend, I will take a test on that. No penalty, for scoring bad, no punishment, nothing, but for your analysis, right? Where do you stand? That is also very important. The most important thing to keep measuring throughout your learning journey, right? That okay, I learned these topics, but where do I stand? So every week you are going to have a test on the weekly concepts. Then every month you are going to have a test on the monthly concepts from whatever was taught in the whole month, right? So these contests are also going to be carried out through the portal only, right? Everything is going to be present under one umbrella, which is this particular portal that you see on the screen right now, right? So this is the portal that you see once you join the main course, right? The one that you see right now is only is available for free. Is for the pre-course students. Is for the people who want to start learning, but maybe they are confused. They don't trust AccioJob as of now, right? They don't know AccioJob as of now. So just to bridge that gap, you see the other portal that we use daily, but this is the main course portal, right? Notes section is there, then open editor. If you want to just practice coding, right? If you just want to practice, you don't want to solve a particular question or anything, this is the place for you, right? So everything is combined under here. Soft skills. So basically, I got reminded of soft skills because of Shivanand's question, right? So you see there are multiple soft skills modules as well, right? English proficiency, communication skills in general. Even if you know English, there is a lot of skills that you can learn from here, right? Then problem solving, then interview preparation, right? Everything is present here. So let's say I just go to English proficiency, right? So fluency, pronunciation, vocab, grammar, listening, speaking, right? All these things, all these videos have been created by our in-house experts, right? So the people that you will see in these videos, for example, this is Mansi, right? She is one of my colleagues, right? So these videos have been recorded on the basis of which person is the expert of which particular topic, right? So we have, and this is a very proud you can say offering, okay? All of this has been done in-house. No external help was taken. This portal was built by my friends, right? Like by the SDEs that sit next to me, by the developers that sit next to me, right? This content, everything that you see here has been developed by Mansi and her team, right? So basically everything has been done in-house. And this is what you can see in the soft skills section. Okay. Then you have projects. When you want to, let's say you're free for 2 3 days, you want to build a project, just come here and build the project of your choice. Why am I not able to see it? Just a second. Okay, maybe there's something wrong with my thing here. Anyways, refer and earn, all of you know it, right? So if you come here, you like the course, you want your friends to study along with you, right? So that you can just have an environment like that. You can refer and earn. There are people who have made more than 20 25 referrals. So they have taken in 60 80,000 of rupees and they have made their course free, right? That is also the case. But obviously, that's not going to happen for everyone. But refer and earn, that's the basic idea here. You refer more people and just start earning as well. So this is just one small segment, but yeah, I am calling it a small segment because for me it's a small segment, but for you it can be a very potential, a very good source for potential money. So for people who are, let's say, not that blessed in the financial department, or for people who don't want to burden their parents with the course fees, right? This is your place, right? I mean, you can refer. You don't have to force anyone. You can't force anyone to purchase a 60 70,000 course just because you are saying it. You will only be doing it if you genuinely like the course, right? So that's a section for that. Then job portal, right? This is the most interesting part. So once you come, you join the course, you study a few modules. Then once you become eligible, the job portal will be open for you. Then you have the batch manager option, profile section, everything. But the main thing that I wanted to focus on is all of these features are available under one umbrella of this main course, right? So that's what I wanted to show you. Okay, you will get a very feature rich platform, and once you open this, I think you can also agree with me on when I say it, you will never have to go anywhere outside of this, right? Every doubt, every potential problem that you might feel would be solved with the help of this particular portal. And that is the intention that we have kept in mind while making this particular portal. And that's why I said it's not 1 month's work, or it's not 1 day work. This has been developed over years. Month on month improvements have been done based on the feedback that was given by students, right? Based on the feedback that was given by instructors like me and my friends, right? So it's a very feature rich platform now. It's a very you can find every learning related tool in this one particular portal, right? Anyways, that's just one thing that I wanted to share with you. But yeah, let's get started with today's topic. Let's not delay much now. I've already taken a lot of time, right? Let me see. I see a lot of messages in the chat. Let me just check it. So I just came to know about this course yesterday, and the deadline is closed. Do I have to score more than 550? It will count in the final selection. So Abhishek, that is a prerequisite, right? That is one step that you will anyways have to do. All this is free? No, this is not free at all. This is not free, and I would never want it to be free, right? Because this is a lot of hard work has gone into this, right? I would not want anyone to get it for free. Okay, if this is available for free, I would be the first one to get angry. Okay, a lot of hard work has gone into this, a lot of money has gone into building this, right? So this cannot be made available for free. This is only for the people who join the course, right? Anyways, is there Apple or Google companies questions? Obviously, Muzammil, वो तो सबसे आसान है डालना, right? So that is definitely there. Python over Java, but content is in Java. And for selection, does it? No, 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 Abhishek. The courses are available in Java and JavaScript, but you can give your selection process test in the language of your choice. C, C++, Python, Java, JavaScript, any language of your choice. What is MERN? So, Ram, basically, when you start development, there are a set of technologies that you use, right? So, MERN basically means, let me just open a new page. MERN basically means Mongo, which is a database, Express, right? React, and Node. So Node is a backend environment, right, which is built on top of like under Node you have JavaScript only, right? So you will also like listen to this term very frequently, Node.js, right, where JS stands for JavaScript, right? And then React is a front-end framework, right? Express, like to keep it simple, what you can, what you can take from Express is this is what we use to run our applications, right? This is what we use to run our backend applications. So this is one of the ways to determine how your applications will be compiled and how your applications will be basically deployed, right? So this is also a kind of framework only, right? This is also, you can call it a framework, right? It's not technically that, but yeah, you can call it a framework which is going to govern how your application is going to be built and how it is going to be deployed, right? So this is also for backend, right? So all these are famous technologies which are basically, if you combine all of them, these are the technologies which are going to make you a full stack developer, right? And this is what? This is a database, right? So all these technologies combined will make you a full stack developer. If you are proficient in all these technologies, you can call yourself a full stack developer, right? And this is the MERN track. So this is going to be in JavaScript, because React and Node, these are all frameworks of JavaScript, right? And then you have the other track, which is the Java one, right? There also, you are going to see the backend one. In place of Node, you have Spring Boot, right? In place of Node, you will be having Spring Boot for backend. For frontend, you will be learning React only, right? And obviously, you will be learning DSA in the beginning, intro to programming, and once you are done with the intro, you will be pushed towards DSA, right? And obviously, as far as the database is concerned, you will be learning both, connecting with both the databases, Mongo and SQL, right? So you will be learning both the databases at a very basic level. Okay, so learning both the databases at a basic level, what I mean by that is your most of the focus is going to be on the backend part, right? So you will only learn enough information of database so you can connect with the database, you can start storing the data in the database, all these things, right? So the other one is Java track, where again, so the only difference between MERN stack and Java stack is of the language, right? So in this, you're going to learn all the technologies in Java, and here you are going to learn everything in JavaScript, right? These are the two options that you have. Now it all depends on your personal preference. If you like what we are doing right now, and if you want to do more of it, right, then you can choose the Java track. And if you are more into development, I want to start developing websites faster and just as soon as possible, then MERN track is going to be more fruitful for you. So one primary difference between MERN and Java track is here you have less DSA, right? You have less DSA, right? So you will stop after the fundamentals of programming and DSA. Here you will be taught the fundamentals of programming, fundamentals of DSA, and the advanced concepts of DSA as well in the Java track, right? And then the backend and the front end part. So this is the primary difference between these two courses. Okay, that's one thing. Baki, yeah, you can just keep consulting the student counselors as well for more information about these courses. This is just one basic overview that I wanted to give. This is just my two words on you know uh, on both of these courses. Both both are having their own sets of advantages, but yeah, the primary difference is first the language, and second the amount of DSA that will be taught. More DSA will be taught in the Java track, and lesser DSA will be taught in the MERN one, because this is more focused around the React and the Node part, and this is more focused around the DSA and the Spring Boot part, right? So that's just, these are the different you can say basic differences between the two courses, right? Anyways, let's just get started. In technical interview, console not working in GDB compiler, why? Bro, how can I answer that? I mean, if it was not working, I would need to know the specifics, right? But yeah, it doesn't happen that online GDB doesn't work. Okay, I will have to know the specifics of this. I can't answer it like this, right? Anyways, having said that, these are the different courses. You can get to know more about these from the student counselors as well. But anyways, it all depends on where your interest lies. Okay. To talk about today's topic, yesterday we have seen arrays, right? We have already seen arrays yesterday. In today's class, or in today's class, the agenda is going to be two-dimensional arrays, 2D arrays. So what we saw yesterday was, I was always building the array like this, right? I was arranging some elements one after the other. This is the kind of array that we were drawing yesterday. This is the kind of array that we were making yesterday. So as you can see, it is only growing in one line. I am placing all the boxes one after the other, right? That is how I am placing these boxes. So what we saw yesterday was, I didn't tell it to you yesterday, but it is called as a one-dimensional array. Right? So dimension basically means the direction, right? It's only growing in one direction. So that's why it's going to be a one-dimensional array, right? So if you have to make an educated guess, if you have to make a smart guess, what you can say is two-dimensional arrays are going to grow in two directions, right? In two dimensions, the length and the maybe some other dimension as well. So that is what you might be thinking as of now. And if you are thinking that, you are absolutely correct, right? That is exactly what a 2D array is. In case of a 1D array, this is how you represent data. This is how you store data. 2D array, to be to keep it very simple, you can call 2D array as an array of arrays, right? So the reason why I'm calling it like an array of an array, it makes it very easy to visualize what is going on behind the scenes, right? So let's say you take one array, and you take another simple similar array, right? So yesterday, what we saw was, maybe you want to store the marks of multiple students at one place, right? The marks of multiple students at one place. Let's say this is your array for that. This is the array to store the marks for English, right? So this is your ENG array. Just to keep it very simple, right? This is your ENG array where you are storing the marks for English. And now you have another array. Just a second. Okay. I thought that someone is raising their hand. Anyways, right? And this is the array where Ram, if you have a doubt, I'll just clear it out later, right? Don't keep raising your hand and then lowering it. It's causing disturbance. Anyways, right? So let's say you are storing mathematics marks in this array, right? So these you can say these set of elements or this particular array is going to help you for storing marks for maths. Very simple, right? Now the question or the observation here is, yesterday, when we did not want to create multiple variables to store the marks, what we did was we just combined them all together and we just stored it under one umbrella, stored it under one name, let's say ENG. Now this particular ENG is going to have multiple values, right? Where you can store multiple marks, right? But it's going to become very easy for you because you will just have to remember one name and you can access all the elements based on their what? Index, right? That is how the job was becoming easy for us yesterday. Now you have two arrays, right? You have two one-dimensional arrays. You have two arrays. And now what you are doing is, in each of the arrays, you are maintaining marks only, right? So to keep it like to repeat it in Hindi, दोनों arrays में आप marks ही तो store कर रहे हो. इस वाले array में आप English के marks store कर रहे हो. इस वाले array में आप maths के marks store कर रहे हो, right? So in both the arrays, you are just storing the marks. Now, if I want to combine these two arrays, right? If I want to combine these two arrays, what can I do? Or how will it look like? How will the picture look like if I just combine these two arrays, right? Upon combining these two arrays, how will it look like? Something like this. You will see a bigger box and two arrays combined like this. Something like this. Something like this will be formed. And how you can visualize how you can visualize it is, this is my first array, this is my second array, something like this. Okay. But now instead of saying it, instead of calling it or instead of visualizing it as different arrays, what you will say is, it's not two arrays or three arrays or something like that. This is my combined one array, which is two-dimensional in nature. Because it has two dimensions, right? It is growing like this also, and it is having multiple rows as well. It's growing in this direction as well, right? So this kind of a structure is called as a 2D array. And what you can see here is, it appears like a table. If you have ever worked in Excel or Google Sheets, these kind of cells are available there, right? So it looks like a Excel sheet or a Google sheet, right? That's how it looks like. I mean, just giving you an alternative thought to think like. The reason why I'm comparing it with the Google sheet, let me just open one for you, right? Just give you a visualization. If you have never worked with a sheet, this is how it looks like, right? This is how it looks like. And the reason for sharing this with you is, you can see multiple columns are there, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, la, 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 right? And you can see multiple rows are also present. So here, this is how it looks like. We are also creating a similar kind of structure, right? We are also creating a similar kind of structure. And that's just why I wanted to give you an analogy just to help you visualize there, right? In our structure as well, in the 2D array as well, right? And yeah, it's going to be one array, right? This is one array, right? Let's call it marks. Let's call this whole thing marks. So this whole structure is one array, which is two-dimensional in nature, right? So now, what is the advantage that we will have if we store things like this? We will not have to maintain two different arrays. Today, it's two different arrays. What if tomorrow you want to store the marks for physics, chemistry, and Java? What if tomorrow you want to store marks for, some more subjects? Let's consider one case. You are in a college, right? So what if you want to store the marks for each subject for each student? In that case, you will end up making one array for each subject, right? One array for each subject, and you will have a total of 6, 7, 8 arrays. So in that case, it's going to be difficult for you to manage all the different arrays. So why not combine both the information, and instead of having multiple one-dimensional arrays, we just have a single 2D array. So we will have the same advantage as we had yesterday when we just rejected the idea of creating multiple variables and we instead used one array. So instead of having multiple one-dimensional arrays, we will just use one 2D array, right? That is the basic idea. And this idea will get even clearer once we move ahead, once we see how the operations are done on the 2D array and we get familiar with the idea of 2D array. Then you will get more comfortable with the thought of, all the other things that I'm saying, right? One important observation or one very significant observation that you can have here is it's not only growing in one dimension, right? It's not like we are only adding elements in this direction. We are also adding elements in this direction as well, right? Or if I just let me just draw a new diagram and help you understand this particular concept. Okay, so let's say this is my 2D array. I'm going to call it 2D arrays are also called as matrix, right? 2D arrays are also called as matrix. Okay, so that's why the most common name that you will see me giving to these 2D arrays is MAT, right? So as I was giving in the one-dimensional array, I was always calling it ARR, right? I'm going to call it MAT here, right? MAT, right? So this is the short form. This is the little name that I'm going to give to all my 2D arrays, right? So this is your 2D array, right? MAT. One observation that you can make here is, now let's say I want to access this particular element, right? Let's understand how we can access a particular element in a 2D array. How did you do it in a 1D array? Let me quickly draw an example here. So the indices that you see here is 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, if you want to access this element, what you will say is, let's call it ARR. What you will do is ARR of 2, right? And it was very easy for you to access this particular, here also it's going to be easy, but it was very, very straightforward to access any particular element in yesterday's array, in a one-dimensional array. Today, if I ask you to access this particular element here, just by giving one identifier, will you be able to find that? Because you see, there are multiple rows also. So these horizontal components that you see here, these horizontal components that you see, what are these? These are your multiple rows, right? So these are your multiple rows, horizontal. And for those of you who don't know what horizontal is, horizontal means like this, right? The sleeping thing, right? ये जो ऐसी लेटी हुई lines हैं, ये horizontal होती हैं. And the standing ones are called vertical. The standing ones are called vertical. And I'll tell you what vertical elements here denotes, right? So all these horizontal elements that you see make up a row. Similarly, these vertical ones are called as columns. So you can see each row has multiple elements, and in the same way, each column also has multiple elements. So in yesterday's case, in a one-dimensional array, we were very easily able to access the element using a single number, using a single index, because we knew all the elements are placed like this. All the elements are present side by side. To access a particular element, if I just say I want the fourth element, or maybe I want the element at index 3, what I will do is I will just go to the element at index 3. Very easy, because I know all the elements are kept in one line. In today, if I ask you in today's case, in the 2D array, if I ask you to bring me the element at index 4, first of all, we have not seen the concept of indexing in 2D array so far. I will tell it to you. But what I want you to understand here is, just by giving one number, either the row number or the column number, you will not be able to access a particular element, right? So first of all, before I go ahead and talk more about the idea of accessing a particular value in case of a 2D array, let me tell you how the concept of indexing works in case of a 2D array, right? So in case of a 2D array as well, the indexing starts from 0. But in case of 2D array, we don't just have one index. We have two indices, right? One index to denote the column number and the other index to denote the row number. For both of these, the indexing starts from 0, right? So if I want to give the index to the first row, it will be 0. This row will have the index 1. This row will have the index 2. Similarly, if I want to give the indices here, this column will have the index 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, right? Let me write 3 properly. Okay, so this is how the indexing is going to be like in case of a 2D array. Now what? Now if I just ask you, if I just give you one number, let's say give me something like this. What can you do? What is that one element that you can access? There is no element that you can access because it is a very confusing statement to make. Mad of 2. Very confusing. Why? Because what can I do? What do you want? Do you want the element from the second row or from the row with index 2? Do you want the element from column with index 2? It's all becoming very confusing because even if we identify, chalo, theek hai, let's say I want an element from row number 2. Which element do I want? If I just tell one number, if I just tell the row number, the row with index 2 has 4 elements. Which one do you want? That is always going to be confusing, right? So if you just mention one number, you will never be able to pinpoint to a particular element in the 2D array. You will always have to tell more than one numbers, right? One number for column and one number for row, right? So one index for row and one index for column. You will have to give both these numbers. You will have to give both these indices to access a particular element in the matrix that you see. Because see, this is the element that we want to identify, right? This one, right? If you just say the column number, let's say the column with index 2. The column with index 2 has how many values? This one, this one. Let me put something else in place of a cross, right? The column with index 2 has this value, and this value as well. Or if you just mention the row index 1, what are the different values that you can see there? This, and this, right? So just by mentioning the row number or the column number, your job is not going to be done, right? But can you make an observation here? Can you make a very simple observation here? So this is the element that you want, right? This is the element that you want. Can you make a very simple observation here? Just by giving the row number, your problem will not be solved because there are 4 such elements. Just by giving the column number also, your problem will not be solved because there are 3 such elements. But can you make an observation here? Can you make an observation here? If you just mention the row index or the column index, there are multiple possibilities. But if you mention both the things, that I want the element from row index 1 and column index 2. So you can see there is only one overlapping element because you can see, right? Blue ticks represent all the elements of the row with index 1. Red ticks represent all the elements with column index 2. There is only one element in the whole matrix which is having both the ticks. There is only one such element, and this is the one. So if we specify both the row and the column, it's going to be possible for us to access a particular element. Because see, if you mention the row number, let's say I want the element from row 1, row with index 1, that brings you here. That restricts your search to this area. Now, among all these elements, what all elements? all these elements, right? This, 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 and this. What is the differentiating factor among all these elements? Now, once you specify a particular row, it is like treating a one-dimensional array only, right? Now, what is the distinguishing factor between all these elements? The column, right? All of them belong to the same row, but all of them belong to different columns, right? So for a particular row, if you also specify which column you want, then you will be landing at one particular element. That, yeah, this is the one that I'm talking about. So coming to the point, how do we access a particular element in case of a 2D array? So how do we access a particular element in case of a 2D array? So the syntax for that looks like this. You give the array name. To make it easy for you, let me just make it more descriptive. You give the 2D array name, and then in the first bracket you write the row index, and in the second bracket you mention the column index, right? This is how you access a particular element. So how will you access this one? How will you access this particular element? Let me show you. How will you access this element that we have been talking about? You will just write the name of the 2D array, which is mat. You will then write the row index, which is 1. You will then mention the column index, which is 2. This will take you to the element of your choice, right? So tell me, let me just fill it with some values. Let me just draw a new matrix altogether, right? So that we don't have any confusion, right? So let's say this is my new matrix. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. Let me just fill it with some basic values, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 25, 35, 52, right? Tell me, and this is also having the name mat. Tell me how to access element with following values. First one being 80. So how do I access this particular element 80? Tell me. Tell me. How will we access this particular element? We will write the array name, and then we will give two set of brackets. Here we will write the row index. Here we will write the column index. So how will we search for the element 80? If I don't receive 10 responses for this, I am not going to move on. Because if you can't understand this, then whatever I'm going to say after this is going to be irrelevant for you. Jaldi batao. How can I access the element with value 80? So first of all, find the element 80 here. Then identify its row index, its column index, right? And then just write it here. Tell me what's difficult in this. Venkat, you have not given the row index. Why? Sharifa, you are right. Praveen is right. Sanjana is right. Praveen Samna is also right. Dinesh. Huh? What are you saying? What is 32? Give me an answer like this. Give me an answer like this. मुझे ऐसे आंसर दो. ये क्या 31 32 क्या लिख रहे हो? Dinesh, you can do it. Okay, I know you can. This is how we do it, right? You mention the row index and then you mention the column index. The horizontal ones that you see, these are rows, and the vertical ones that you see are columns, right? So first, here you will write the row index, here you will write the column index, right? 1 3, very nice. Ram. Geeta is also right. Abhishek is also right. So Geeta and Abhishek, you are right, but I hope you understand this is how we will have to write it. Okay. So your answer is correct, but I'm just talking about the formatting here. You are making one mistake. You are on the right track, but Nagaraju, focus on one thing. I want the row index here. You have given me the row in. Yeah, you have given me the column index here. Nagaraju, try it once more. I know you are right in your mind, but there is one small mistake that you are making. Okay. So let me help you out with this one. And in the next one, I want more responses. If I see some 10-15 responses, only then I'll be able to move on. Right. And the reason why I want you to type it in the chat is because I want you to be active so that you guys don't feel sleepy in the middle of the lecture. Right. Anyways, 80. 80 is this one. The row index that 80 has is 1. The column index is 3. That's all. End of story. Baat khatam. Just go home. That is all I wanted you to do. 1 3. Okay. So I've helped you with this one and it's fine. I will keep helping you throughout, but I want more answers in this one, right? So I 25. How will I access 25? Fill in the blanks. Now I want at least 20 responses, right? You will say, sir, almost 20 people are there. There also you want 20 responses. Yes. What's wrong? Because this is something that should be clear to everyone. Otherwise, there's no point of moving forward. 2 1. Yes. Oh, I said the answer out loud. Did I? Sharifa, Dinesh, Praveen, Shivanand, Abhishek, Geeta, Sanjana, Dayanand, Nagaraju, Muzammil, Vashi. Hello, bro. Hello, Vashi. All of you are correct. The names that I have taken, right? Then we have Manoj, Samna. And how do I pronounce your name? I asked you yesterday also. What is it called? Uh, no, you are telling me the meaning, I guess, but how do I pronounce it? I remember the meaning. Venkat is right. Shirisha is right. Ramchandra is right. All of you are right. Just a second, right? There is one person who said 2 comma 2. Okay, Shamna. Don't worry. Got it. Acha ji. So kya scene hai? What do we have here? This is the element first of all, right? This is the element. What is the row index? 2. What is the column index? 1. So these fill in the blanks will be filled with 1, right? Now, third and the last one. How do I access? How do I access 40? Quickly, tell me within 1 minute. I want all of you to respond. Okay, Soko. Yeah, you are also right, by the way. Then Abhishek, Dinesh, Ramchandu, Muzammil, Praveen, Shivanand, Sharifa, Sanjana, Shamna, Geeta, Nagaraju, Venkat, Manoj, Shirisha, all of you are right. सही है मैं समझ गया ना अपन कुछ है ए someone is saying 2 comma 3. This is the element that I'm talking about, guys. This is the element. This is the row index. This is the column index. Everyone is correct, right? So basically, this is the element, this is the row index, this is the column index. So 0 and 3, as simple as that, right? So there is no need to be confused here. And although this chat acted as a poll only, but I'm still going to go ahead and launch one poll formally for this discussion, right? We have only seen the intro to 2D array. I have told you that it is like an array of arrays. I have told you how it will look like, how we will visualize it. Just mentioning one index will not be enough this time. You will have to specify the row index as well as the column index if you want to access a particular value. Yes, that's what I've told you. Indexing starts from 0 here also, because essentially it's an array only, right? So that's all. That's all that I've told you. We will just go on to our screen. We'll do some coding now. But yeah, theory wise, that's all. मुझे मतलब for me, if you talk about the pre-course, I have two favorite. All the topics are good, but I have two favorite topics. One is nested loops, one is 2D array. These are why I like these topics is because as a beginner, you can consider array also after these topics. As a beginner, when we solve these questions, we feel good, right? So my favorite personal favorites are nested loops. If you are able to solve a nested loop question on your own as a beginner, it gives you a very good sense of achievement, right? That's why I like that topic very much, right? And then 2D array, then your array and simple loops. उसके पहले सब ऐसे ही है, मतलब obviously we have to teach everything because सब ऐसा ही है because we know it now. But yeah, when we did not know programming, those topics were also unknown to us, right? So everything is very important, and we are using all those concepts in like today's class, and we will keep using that throughout our coding journey. But interesting to 2D array and nested loops, these are the interesting topics, right? And the sense of achievement that we get once we are done with these questions, that is also very good. Anyways, don't worry, Dinesh. I one more student told me I'll just get the recordings uploaded. Don't worry. Acha ji, this is the whole scenario, right? Now let's go ahead and see what is relevant for us in terms of the coding part in case of a 2D array. Let's solve the MCQs first. Let's see if we can solve everything based on the information that we have gathered so far. So these MCQs are basic theoretical MCQs. In a 2D array, how is the size of the array represented? I have not told this point to you, but let's see how you do here. Let's call this A, B, C, D. So what is going to be the answer? So basically, you might be getting confused between C and D, because I've told you both rows and columns, but I've not told you how the size is generally represented, right? The correct answer here is C. Generally, the size is represented as rows and columns, rows into columns, right? So let's say a matrix, if a matrix is given and it is said that the matrix is 3 by 4, what it means is there are 3 rows and 4 columns, right? That is what is meant. So this is one point that I have not shared explicitly, but yeah, that's how it is. So rows into columns. Suppose there are n rows and each of those rows have n elements. So the total there will be basically this should have been m elements. N rows each having m elements. So the total will be n into m, right? Something like that. Anyways, what does a 2D array represent in programming? A single row of data, a collection of variables with different data types. A table or a grid of elements arranged in rows and columns seems fine. A loop construct. Illogical, illogical. Single row of data, arrays. A collection of variables with different data types. We have not seen anything like this. We have not talked about anything like this. This is the most reasonable explanation, right? A table kind of structure or a grid kind of structure arranged in rows and columns. That's what it is, right? A 2D array is like a grid or a table in programming. It helps to organize data in both rows and columns. like a spreadsheet. So this is what a spreadsheet is, right? Like a spreadsheet, or making it easier to work with a structured information, right? So basically, it's the same point as we discussed. Basically, instead of dealing with multiple one-dimensional arrays, we will just make one two-dimensional array, right? Something like that. Anyways, this is what you will tell me. In a 2D array, how is an individual element accessed using indices? इंडेक्स की मदद से 2D array में एलिमेंट्स को कैसे एक्सेस किया जाता है? रो कॉमा कॉलम, रो कॉलम, रो माइनस कॉलम, कॉलम रो. Tell me. For a second, it started feeling like fastest fingers of KBC. I am asking the questions, you are giving me the answers. Row column, right? You give two set of square brackets, and in the first one you mention the row index, and in the second one you mention the column index, right? So imagine the 2D array as a grid. To access an element, you are using two indices, one for the row and the other for the column. It's like saying, I want the value at the intersection of row X and column Y. क्या ये last line क्या है? What is this last line? Intersection basically means where do two things mean? Where do two things meet? Right? So if this is one line, this is another line, the point where these two lines meet is the point of intersection, right? In the same way, if I want to access the value in row index 1, column index 2, right? So row index 1, this is the row with index 1. Let me just take a new color. This is the row with index 1. And what did I say? Column with index 2, right? So column with index 2, where is the point of intersection? So that's what I mean, right? So element 50 is present at the intersection of row 1, column 2, right? That's why this simple, same thing, just a different way of saying it, right? So that's one. What operation is commonly performed using nested loops when working with 2D arrays? This is something I was going to tell you, but still, let's see it here, right? So what we will have to do now is, in a 1D array, what did we do? We just we only had one line of data. So what we did was we wrote one loop from the starting point till the ending point, and we just hopped to we just jumped from one element to the other element. That is what we kept doing. Now what we will have to do? We have multiple rows. When we enter a row, we will jump from one element to the other. That's what we will do. But there are other rows also which are waiting for us. For those rows also, we want to go and jump to other elements. We want to go and jump to other elements. So this going to the row and jumping to all the elements, this process is something we will have to do for all the rows. So there will be one loop which is required for going and jumping to all the elements for one row. And because we want to do this process for all the rows, there will be another outer loop that we will need for going from one row to the other row. So we will enter one row, we will jump to each and every element using a for loop. Then to move to the other row, we will need an outer for loop. That will make sure that once we are done here, we will go to the other row. And here also, once we get inside for this other row, the inner for loop will make us jump from one element to the other. So this way, we will need a nested loop structure for traversing in a 2D array, for going and visiting each element in the 2D array, right? So accessing each element in a particular sequence, we will need to basically use nested loops to do that, right? One for hopping over each element in a given row, and one for making sure that we are going to each row. Because this accessing each element of the row, this process we have to do for all the rows, right? Concatenation of elements, division of elements, subtraction of time pass options, right? Nested loops are often used to go through each and every element of a 2D array systematically. It's like reading through a book row by row, and for each row going through the very nice example. It's like you're reading a book. What you're doing is you're going to each line and reading each word. Then you go to the next line and read each word, right? So in the same way, we will have to do it for the 2D array also, right? That's why we will need a nested loop here. Very good analogy. Sorry, it's not ending only. In a 2D array with dimension 3 by 4, what is the maximum index for rows and nice question. Tell me. There are two rows. So what will be the maximum index for rows and columns? So there are three rows. So what will be the maximum index for the rows? And there are four columns, right? So this is how the matrix is going to look like. The indexing starts from 0 here also. Tell me which option is correct. Okay, some people are falling in the trap. Those who think this is the option, think again. फिर से सोचो. Mm, this question confused you. I see a lot of wrong answers this time. But like whenever I ask you guys a question, almost every time you are correct. But this question has taken over you. Ramchandu, Venkat, Ramchandu once more. And only these two people are correct so far. Okay. Let me just draw a diagram. If this question is troubling you, 3 by 4, 3 rows, 4 columns, right? That's what it means. 3 rows, 4 columns, 3 rows, 4 columns. This is how the matrix looks. Let me give the indices 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. Highest column index, highest row index. ये तो पूरा पूरा discussion we can just copy paste from yesterday's class, right? We can just copy paste the whole discussion that we had yesterday in today's class. Guys, we are starting from 0. So to represent 3 rows, we will only need to go till the value 2. 0, 1, 2. How many numbers have I spoken? 0, 1, 2. How many numbers are these? 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. How many numbers have I spoken in total? 4. So we only need to go till the number 3 because we are starting from 0. एक नंबर पहले से स्टार्ट कर दिया ना हमने, तो we don't need to go till 4. If we go till 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a total of 5 numbers. We don't need 5 numbers to represent 4 columns. So what will be the correct answer? Now tell me. Tell me, boys and girls. R2C3. Looks like a robot name. Nagaraju, what answer have you sent? Oh, sorry. Bro, actually you have said 2, answer 3. So I got confused. You meant 2 and 3. Yeah, you are correct, Nag. You are also correct, Nagaraju. Don't worry. A. Yes. So are you guys now clear with this? This is the option that's correct, right? Since indexing starts from 0, in a 3 by 4 array, the maximum index for rows is 2, representing the third row, and the maximum index for column is 3, representing the fourth column. समझे भाई लोग? The funda here is the same as we saw in the one-dimensional array, right? Yesterday. Okay. I guess we will now encounter a coding question. So if we have to solve a coding question, let's go in the proper sequence. Okay. This is not the one I want to solve at first. Good questions, by the way. Google's original name was Backrub. Nice. Yeah. This is the question that I want to take up. Oh, do you see? Explain this question prompt is available here now. A very good step because we often forget to go to the assistance tab, right? It's a long process to go to the assistance and then ask for assistance. Today in the morning, I was talking to a student and he was facing some issue with his code. He checked out the assistance option and he wrote what's wrong with my code and he got the correct answer from there, right? So these are very helpful features. Currently, like if we talk about the whole portal, this is my favorite feature these days, right? The only reason why it's my favorite feature is because each time a student asks a doubt from me, what I do is I say that I will tell you everything. But first, check this option. What's wrong with my code? And each time they get satisfactory answer. But because most of the students are beginners, there is some additional help that they need. So I just help them. But this gives enough value. So the students who are who are practicing regularly and who are having enough information about the concepts, they are able to do it in just one step, right? So this is my, even in these three options, this is my favorite option. What's wrong with my code, right? Anyways, so printing a 2D array. Printing a 2D array is going to be different from printing a one-dimensional array, right? Because obviously, we don't just have to print one row. We have to print all the rows. Okay. So that's why it's going to be different. But let's just see. Let's just read the description of the problem. You're given a 2D array, ARR, of size n cross m, which basically means n rows, m columns. Print the elements of it. First line contains input format is given. Although we don't need to read it because input is already handled for us. But still, let's just, for the sake of completeness, let's just read it so we understand what is written there. First line contains two space separated integers n and m, representing the number of rows and columns respectively. Okay. Next n lines contain m integers, right? Next n lines, because n and m, n is the number of rows. So you will have n lines of data, right? So next n lines contains m integers. So each line contains m integers corresponding to one column each, right? So to represent the integers or to represent the elements of that particular row. Logical point, right? So because there are n rows, there will be n lines of data in the input. Okay. Output format, elements of the array in n lines where each line has m space separated integers. Okay. So basically, if an array is given to you like this, let's just read their description, right? This is one sample input. 2 means number of rows, 3 means number of columns, as they said, right? The first line contains two space separated integers n and m. N is equal to 2, m is equal to 3. N was the number of rows, m is the number of columns. Then we have the data here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is how the matrix will look like, right? And that is exactly the format in which they want the output as well, right? This is how they want the output as well, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, sorted. Now let's just see how we will do it. In my mind, a very clear approach is coming, but maybe that's not coming to you. So I will just share it with you to make it easy for all of us. Okay. Respond to my question. Ram, what question are you asking, bro? I didn't see any. Maybe just do one thing, Ram. Just put your question here. I will answer you later. Won't be doing it right now, anyways, because I'm in the middle of explaining something, right? I don't want to break the flow. Just log your question in the Q&A section. I'll answer it. I'll answer it later. Okay. Cool. This is the matrix that is given to us, and this is exactly how they want to print the result as well. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So no creativity has been shown here. They have just gone through every row, gone to each row, and in each row, they are going to every element and they are just printing it in that particular manner, in that particular order, right? That is what's happening here. Let's just clear all these things. Acha ji. This is what we want to do, right? So if the matrix is given to us like this is what we want to print. Okay. So what we will have to do is, let me just move the discussion to here, right? Let's take the example that was printed there, 2, 3, right? So 2 rows, 3 columns. The elements being whatever it is, we can just write any element here. This is the kind of matrix that we have. What we want in the output is we want each row printed in a separate line, and we want each row in the order in which it is present in the matrix, right? So what do we want? Human to human, no coding involved. What do we want? We want each row printed on the output as well. So 1, 2, 3, then 10, 20, 30. This is the kind of output that we want, right? What's happening here is we are going to each row, right? And then what are we doing? after we are reaching a particular row, let's say I reach here, right? I reach this particular, let me give the indices as well. 0, 1, 0, 1, 2. Okay. So when I reach to 0th row, when I reach to 0th row, what am I doing? I'm not stopping there. I am going to each and every element. I am going to the element with column 0. Then I'm going to element with column index 1. Then I'm going to element with column index 2. So this is the order in which I am proceeding. I am going to this element, this element, this element. That's what I'm doing, right? Then for the 1th row or the first row, whatever you want to call it, what am I doing? I am going to this element, this element, this element, right? So I'm going to element with column index 0, with column index 1, and with column index 2. That's what I'm doing here as well. Okay. This is what I'm doing. If there was a third row, or a row with index 2, for that also I would have done the same thing. So do you see what I'm doing? For each of the rows, I am doing the same thing. Just the row is changing, but my pattern of traversal is the same. I am going to the column with index 0, 1, and 2. Column with index 0, 1, and 2. So to traverse one particular row, let's say row number I, to traverse row with index I, what do I need to do? I need to write a for loop, and I need to go from the starting column till the ending column, right? I need to go from the starting column till the ending column for that particular row, right? So if I is the row, so for mat of I, for all elements of mat of I want to print. In other words, I want to print all elements of mat of I, right? Of a particular row, basically, right? So what will I do? I will go over all the columns for the fixed particular row, for this particular row, right? Let's see how we will write it, right? J is equal to 0, J less than M, right? J plus plus. So J plus plus is basically same as saying J is equal to J plus 1. So whatever you want to do, right? You can write this also, you can write this also, one and the same thing. Okay. Anyways, what I will do here, okay. There is one angle that I would want to mention here. There is one special thing that I would want to mention. You remember if we use console.log, what happens? When we use console.log, what happens is your message gets printed, and this is not the only thing that happens, and the line changes. Your message gets printed. What has happened to my handwriting? Arey yaar ye. Let's just open it once again. Okay. Your message gets printed and the line changes. Okay. So if I follow that approach, what will happen? One will be printed like this, then two will get printed, then three will get printed. I don't want that. I want 1, 2, 3 in the same line, right? So let's do the same thing as we did with our pattern, right? You remember when we wanted to print the staircase, when we wanted to print the other patterns, n stars in one line and m such lines. You remember all those discussions in the nested loop? What did we do? We created an empty string, and inside of that, what did we do? We added multiple stars together, right? That is what we did. This time, what we will do is we'll just create an empty string like that. Let's call it row, right? Is equal to empty string, right? This is literally empty. There is no space here. I am giving some amount of space here just to give you a clarity that I am basically writing two single inverted commas here, but there is no space involved. Okay, this is entirely empty, right? So this is your empty string. Let me just get some space here. Okay, anyways, whatever. So what I'll do before here is let row is equal to empty string, right? This here is an empty string. And now what I would want to do is I want all the elements of this row. Don't deviate from the main point, right? All this is the implementation part. But the main thing here is I want to access each and every element of this particular row. So what have I done for that? What have I arranged for that? The variables j is going to help me with that. It starts from 0 and it goes till less than m, where m is the number of columns, right? So I'm assuming that m is the number of columns. So I'm going through a valid range of index for the columns, right? So for a fixed row, I am going over each of the columns. Now, what would I want to do? Row is equal to, this is the main line. This is the heart of the whole discussion. Row is equal to whatever row was the previous value of row plus my current element, right? My current element. What is that? Mat of I, because I am at the ith row. When I am entering inside this particular for loop, I am already at the ith row. So mat of I, j. J being the column index, j representing the column index, right? Then there is one extra thing that I will have to do, plus, because you see, even in the same line, when I'm printing these elements in the same line, what is happening? All these are separated by a space here. There is a space present between all the elements. So what I will do is, to make sure that there is always a space between elements, I will just add a space here, right? I will just add a space here. Convenient enough. So what will my pattern look like? What will my row variable look like once I reach here? Once I reach here, my row variable will have all elements of the given ith row in a space separated manner. Or let's not complicate the English. All elements of the ith row separated by space, right? Separated by space. So basically, there will be space between the elements. That's what I want to say, right? Even if this message is not clear. So as of now, row variable will have all the elements. Okay. Now what would I want to do? What is my ultimate target? My ultimate target is to print all these elements, right? So console.log, to just to give you a picture, right? Right now, my row variable has this thing. So my row variable has what I want to print corresponding to row I, right? So what will I do? Console.log. That's all. There is no need to write this big of a bracket, right? Console.log row. Okay. So is this step clear? What this set of code is doing? Let me just write it here as well. Right. The code for printing all elements of the ith row. What am I doing? The first step, let row is equal to empty string. Then what is the second step? I'm just populating the row variable correctly, right? So populate the row variable as needed, right? What do we want to do? We want to go over each column. We want to go over each column for the ith row, right? That is what we will do here. J is equal to 0. J is less than, what is the, m is the number of columns, right? J is less than m. J plus plus, or j is equal to j plus 1. Whatever you want to use here, it's one and the same thing. because I don't want any additional doubts. I'm just writing it as j is equal to j plus 1, right? Nothing has changed. Okay. Now what? What do I want to do? I want to prepare my row variable such that it contains the value that I want to print for a particular, right? This thing. So row is equal to whatever it has plus the current element, which is what? Mat of I, j, plus what? An extra space that I was talking about, right? Remember, there's a difference between this and this. Space is also a valid character. Space is something. Empty means empty. No space even. Empty means empty. It's just a string. It's just a string for the sake of it. बस बताने के लिए ये string है. बाकी inside of it, it does not contain anything. Here it is containing a space. There is a difference between the two. Okay. Then what? Now row contains information or elements of row I, right? So now what we can do is console.log row. That's all. So this logic, this is the logic for printing all the elements of the ith. This is the logic for printing all the elements of the ith row. I have pasted it. I have basically cut it from here, right? Now what I want to do, just to show it back to you, print all the elements of the given row. Print all the elements of the ith row. What do I want to do? I want to do this. Print all the elements for all my rows, right? So I want to do something like this. Go over each row and print all the elements for each row. Go to each row and print all the elements there, right? So what would I want to do? How can I go to each row for I is equal to 0, I less than n being the number of rows, I plus plus, right? Or again, I is equal to I plus 1. Okay. Then what do I want to do? Print all the elements of the ith row. Just to give you a better information, we are currently at ith row, right? So basically, the value that I denotes is the row number, right? I represents the row number. Let me just write that as well. I represents the row index. Okay. So all this information I am writing just to make sure that you are getting everything, right? I represent the row index. Currently, we are at the ith row. We want to print all the elements of the ith row. Does this statement ring a bell? इसको सुन के कुछ याद आ रहा है क्या? Print all the elements of the ith row. We have seen the logic for this. We know how to do this. So let's do that. Let's do that. So the thing that I had earlier copied, right? I'm just pasting it now. I'm just pasting it. You want to print all the elements of the ith row? This is the code for it. This is the code for it. The one that we have constructed together, right? Just cut and pasted it. Literally pasted it in front of you, right? I have not written any new code. So what am I doing? I am going to each row. For each row, this is the additional information, right? This is just the information that we have. Now, I want to print all the elements of the ith row. This is how it goes. You construct a row variable, which is empty in the beginning. Then you go over each element of the row and add it to the row variable. Add it to the row variable basically means the place it in the row variable. It's a string, right? So you are just arranging the elements properly, space separated in the particular order, blah, blah, blah. You are doing that. And then at the end, you are just printing the row. Then you reach here. Then you come back to this place, I is equal to I plus 1. And then you continue with the same thing. You continue with the same thing, but for an incremented value of I. So basically, you are doing the same thing, but for a different row. And each time you keep doing it for all the rows until this condition gets violated. So until you do it for all the rows, you keep doing it, right? So this is how the elements are getting printed. Okay, this is how the elements are getting printed. I will show you a dry run of this whole thing, right? But before I do that, let me just show you whether the code even works or not. Only then we can claim all these results, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's even go ahead and try to submit this. Okay. Now we can talk about the other things, right? I'll just provide it to you. This thing, right? Guys, sorry for not being able to give the codes to you. I have been traveling for the past 2, 3 days regularly. I will just provide you all the notes together in uh, tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow in the day I'll get you all the notes. Anyways. So are we now clear with what happened here? First, I told you the logic for printing all the elements of a given row without any strings attached, without telling you about anything else. I gave you the logic for that. And then what we saw? We saw that is exactly what we need to do for each row if we want to print the whole matrix. So what did we do? We constructed a basic for loop structure, and then in the comments only I showed you that now that we have reached the ith row, we want to print all the elements that it has. वो तो हमने पहले ही कर रखा था. We had already written the code for it. So I just copy pasted that. So are you absolutely 100% clear with this? Right. So I'm just going to launch a poll and just let me know, because we have already gone down from 28 people to 22 people, right? So now it matters to me that all the 21 people who have stayed back should be clear with it. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask it. This is a this is not even a question, right? This is a part of the theory only, traversing through a matrix. Okay, so it's a very common question, it's a very basic thing, but all of you should be clear with it. If this is not clear, there is no point of today's class. Okay, this is very important, right? Let me just go through the chat. Why only Java and C++ are available, sir? किधर पे? Okay, Ram. We like that is in the process of getting added, right? Don't worry. JS will also get added. Okay. High level questions given in coding test. Kuldeep, tell me one high level question given in the coding test. Just just one, and then we can talk about it. Okay. Others, I have only received 11 answers. 11 people are clear. 11 people have answered the poll, and 11 of them are clear. But what about the other people? 50% of you have not answered the poll. Batao bhai, quickly answer the poll. At least 15, 16 of you should respond, right? Only then I can move on. And if that's the case, if you are clear, let me just select the other question that I want to solve for today. Turi Aries. Print matrix column wise. Can we do this? Can we do this? Batao. They want the whole result in one line. So yeah, that's going to be easy for us. But can we do it? Print matrix column wise. Anyone who would want to share the approach with me for this one? Anyone? Other questions that we have: print matrix column wise, diagonal difference. Oh, that's interesting. Alternate matrix sum. This is also very easy. I will give you a hint for the alternate matrix sum question once we are done with this. Okay. Alternate manner matrix traversal. This also looks like a easy question. तो मैं बता तो आपको सारे ही दूंगा approach wise. I will share all the approach for all the questions with you. But let's solve this one first. Diagonal difference, alternate matrix sum, alternate manner matrix traversal, and print matrix column wise. Print matrix column wise. Without anyone who can just share the approach with me. You can raise your hand. I'll give you the permission to unmute. Let me first show this question to you. Nice, Rakhi. Very good to see this. Let me just unmute you. Yeah, Rakhi, you can unmute yourself. I have given you the permission. चलो poll results में तो more of you are not answering, but still those of you who have answered are able to understand it. Raki, are you sorry? Can you not unmute yourself? Anyone else who would want to? Okay, yes, Venkat. But Venkat, तो I know would be able to solve it. कहाँ गया? Where is he? Yes, Venkat, tell me. Are you guys not getting the option to unmute yourself? I am selecting it from here. Anyways, let's just not waste our time there if that feature is not, if you are not able to use that feature, let's just skip it. Chalo bhai, I just wanted to make it a little interactive because this is the last topic that we are formally discussing. Tomorrow is a revision class. Okay, so print matrix column wise. Let's just have a look here. Given a 2D matrix A, n rows, m columns. Now we know these things, right? This is very easy for us. Print the matrix in a column major order. I did not understand anything from this. Okay. Your task is to complete the function print matrix column wise, which receives the input n and m column major order. So the explanation here is not very good. Let's just ask it to explain the question. Let's see what the question explanation says. This problem is asking you to print the elements of a 2D matrix in column major order. 2D matrix is this column major order. You start from the top of the first column and go down. Acha. So far what we were doing was we were going to each row and printing all the elements. This time we want to reverse the whole discussion, reverse the whole thing, right? We want to go to each column and print all its elements. Then move on to the next column, print all its elements. Then move on to the next column and print all its elements. So what? Cool. We can basically do it, right? Let's first select JavaScript for us. Okay. Okay. Print matrix column wise. So we know how to print matrix row wise. We went to each row. And then what did we do? After that, after going to each and every row, we basically for a given row, we went to each column, right? That's what we did the last time. We went to each row, and for each row, we went to every column. Now we want to go to a column and go to each row for that. Then go to the next column and go to each row for that. Then change the column and do the same process. So the process that we want to repeat this time is for ith column, print all the rows. Just a second. Yeah, sorry for the disturbance, guys. So for the ith column, what do I want to do? I want to print all the rows, right? So print all the rows, right? For a fixed column, print all the rows. How will I do that? Let's see. Acha bhai, one thing that you can see here is we want all the answer in one line, right? So basically, just to explain this question in a better manner, what we want to do is go to the first column and print all the elements, right? 1, 4, 7. Then we will change the column. We will go here and we will print all the elements. 2, 5, 8. Then we will go to this column and print all the elements. 3, 6, 9. This is what we want. So we don't want to change the line after printing a particular set of elements or something. everything needs to be printed in one line. That is one point of observation here, right? So whatever we were doing, right? Maybe we were constructing a row, initializing it with an empty string, then adding the elements there. We will have to do it for the whole system this time, and we will print our result at the end, right? So let me just show you what we want to do this time. Just let me clear all these annotations first. Acha ji. So now what? For the ith column, I want to print all the rows, right? How do I do that? Let's call it result for the sake of better word is equal to empty string. Now what do I want to do? Go to each row for ith column, right? Add it to the result, right? And then add it to the result. अच्छा जी, कर देते हैं. So go to each row. Okay. If I want to go to each row, I would want to start from 0 and go till the valid row index. So if there are n total rows, how would I want to deal with this particular problem? Start from 0, go till n, right? Let's just see if there are n rows only. Yeah, n rows, right? So I want to go to all the rows. So for so we have the ith row, right? Ith column. So let's just start this with j. J is equal to 0. J is less than n. J plus plus. So this is for all rows. So when we are inside of it, I represents ith column, or I represent column index, and j represents the row index, right? So let me just mention it over here only. And this is the picture. Now what do I want to do? Result is equal to result plus my current element mat of, see guys, notice here, j is representing the row index this time. So mat of j I. We mentioned the row index and then the column index, right? You don't need to get too attached with the variable names. Don't get any doubt regarding, last time we were using I to represent the row index. This time we are using I to represent the column index. I did it knowingly. I did it deliberately because I did not want you guys to have any notion in your mind that we can only use J to represent the column index or anything like that. No, I wanted it to become a little bit confusing so that once you understand this whole thing, you will always be clear. Okay. So J, the way we have defined things, we are the programmer, right? We are the ones who will control everything. So the way we have defined the things here is we are talking about the ith column. So I this time is going to be used for representing column, right? And now we are at the jth, like j is going to represent the row index, right? So for the ith column, we want to go to every row, right? J is going to take care of that. And how do we do it? For the jth row, we want to print the value at ith column, something like that. Okay. This we have done. And let's also add the space that we talked about. Okay. So this way we will just construct the result. This way we will construct the result. And after this process, if I want, I can just print my result as well. If I want. Later in the code, we will see whether we want it or not. Okay. Let's just get started. Okay. Let's just get started. So this is how we will just handle the whole thing. Okay. Acha ji. Again, I am just taking this whole thing and saving it for later. Now what? Let's see. क्या हो गया? Okay. Okay. So now what do I want to do? I want to go to each and every column and print all the rows for that. Let's handle the code for it. So for int I is equal to 0, I less than m, I plus plus. So what? This goes for all columns. For all columns, right? Now what do I want to do for each column? Currently we are at the ith column. Print elements at all rows for ith column. For the ith column. That's what we want to do. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that, right? For the ith column, print all the rows. That's what this particular code does. I'm just removing that comment because we already have the comment to represent that information. Print elements at all rows for this particular column, for the ith column. There is one thing that I want you to note here. Only one thing. Because this time, we want the whole result in one line. We want the whole result in one line. That is why what we will do is we will just take it outside. Okay. We want only one result, right? We want only one result. We will first construct it, and after everything at the end, we are going to print it, right? The reason why I'm asking you to keep this particular declaration outside somewhere here is because what will happen once we, let's say we are done for the ith column with I is equal to 0. We are done with the column with I is equal to 0. Then what will happen? I plus plus will happen. I will become 1 and we will enter again inside. Because of this statement, what will happen? Result will always be reset. Result will always be reset to the empty string, right? And at the end, what will we have? We will only have the information for the last column. We will only have the information for the last column because result is always getting reset. So at the end, you will only have these elements in the result. But what do we want? We want all the elements in the result variable, right? So let's do one thing. Let's declare this empty string outside the discussion. Outside this discussion, so that what happens? So that we are able to add everything to the result. And once we are done with everything, we can print result at the end. Okay, so this discussion, this point, I will just elaborate once more. Baki, let me just like go ahead with the code, right? So now what is happening? Okay, so this is what's happening now. Code wise, it's the same, right? It's the same code that we're having here also, right? You can see I have not changed anything here. Once we get inside, I represents the column index, J represents the row index, and what we are doing, we are adding it to the result. The main thing that is happening here is the order in which things are moving, right? So first, we are going to each and every column, and then we are going to each and every row. That's how things are working here. At the beginning, result is an empty string, and then once we are done with the whole thing, the result will contain everything. Okay. So if just to show you that it's working, for the people who are clear with everything, I'm just giving an input here. I will show you the output and I will show you the code that it works on submission also. For the people who are not clear, I will do a dry run of this code, right? I will show you what each and every line of this code does for us. Okay. So let me just, first of all, for the people who are clear, let me just, run the code, show you that it's working and then be done with it. 14725, sorry, force of habit. So in Java, we have int and all these things. Sorry, forgive me. We will use let here, right? 147258369. Okay, yeah, seems to be working fine. Let's just try to submit this. Only out of 10, only 2 test cases passed. Your output, expected output. I guess I know why it failed. But yeah. Anyways, so okay. So let's do one thing. Let me tell you another concept. Okay. So you guys will be very angry at me because this is going to make your life very easy. And you will say that you should have told this to us earlier. But still, let me just share it with you now. Okay. So another way of printing out the output on the screen in JavaScript is something like this. Process dot stdout dot write. So what this does is console.log has one limitation, right? It always prints your text and it always changes the line. Okay. In case of process.stdout.write, your line will not change by default. Okay. Your line will not change by default. So what you will see is, you will see everything getting printed out on your console, right? So this is how it will work. So process.stdout.write. Now here, if I do mat of j comma I plus I give the space, so everything will get printed one after the other. The line will not change. Okay. So let me just use this particular logic. So instead of constructing the result, I will just print everything in real time. Okay. So let me just show that to you. Okay. In fact, let me just copy this. Keep it with me and remove other things. This, go to add it to the result thing will become obsolete because we are not doing that. This also we will not need. Okay. Okay. So you guys are going to be very angry because that's how small the code will become now. Okay. Anyways, process dot stdout dot write. Okay. And another reason for not sharing that with you is because I did not want to overload you with information. But again, these 19, 20 people that we have at the end of the class, I can do things flexibly with them, right? These people are the people that can digest some information, okay? And it's fine, right? We are at the ith column. Now what we want to do is go to, yeah. So this is what this particular code is going to do, right? It is going to write the value at the particular line, and it is going to give some space here. So let me just first verify this approach, and then we are going to go ahead and submit it as well, right? This time it's going to get submitted. Okay. The reason why the previous thing was not working was, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing. I will have to look for the exact reason, but mostly this would have been the case. What happens is, you took a variable and you were trying to store the result inside of that, right? What can happen is, variable size has a limit. If you try to store a lot of information inside of that variable, the size limit can get exceeded. Okay, the size limit can get exceeded. In fact, okay, it's not really relevant to show it to you right now, but yeah, the size limit can get exceeded. So that might have happened there. Okay, this time, because each element that we see, we are just printing that out in real time. We are not seeing any problem like that. Okay, that's why it got submitted properly, and that's why everything happened properly. Okay, anyways, now there's one thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to dry run this code, right? So first, let me just a second. Let me first save it for you. So when I'll share it, I'll share the code with you. Okay. But yeah, let me remove the comments now. I guess these are relevant comments. We can keep them. And I'll just quickly do a dry run. I guess Chirag sir is also there in the session now. I'll just hand it over to him in the next 5 minutes. Okay. Don't worry. Let me just check once. Yes, Chirag has joined. So, bro, I'll just hand it over to you in 5 minutes. Okay. Just 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay. Achha ji. So let's just take a matrix, for example. Okay. So let's 1, 2, 29, 4, 6. Okay. Random values. What do we want? Column wise, column wise, column wise. So 1, 9, 2, 4, 26. This is what we want. Let's see if we are getting what we want or not. Obviously, we are getting. But the reason for doing a dry run, and all of you should do it as well, right? On your own. When we do a dry run, we get an exact understanding of how the code is working, right? It's no longer a guessing game. It becomes very much clear to us, crystal clear, the thing that we see, right? It becomes crystal clear of how the code is working internally. Okay, so let's just have a look here. This is just a function, right? We don't really need to be concerned with it. Okay, this bracket is also okay. Now let's just start implementation from here. I is equal to 0, I less than m, I plus plus. M is the number of columns, so m will be 3 here. N is the number of rows, so n will be 2 here. Achha, let's just evaluate it once. I is equal to 0, I less than m, I plus plus. Okay, I is equal to 0, I less than m. Yes, 0 is less than 3. Let's just get inside. Then we will come here. Comments we have to ignore, right? We don't really read the comments. Okay, that is only for understanding. That is only for the reading purpose. But right now we are mimicking a computer, right? We're just going to the code and implementing it. We're just seeing the output. So let's just ignore the comments for now. Okay. J is equal to 0, J less than n, J plus plus. J is equal to 0, J less than n. Yes, 0 is less than 2, right? 0 is less than 2. So you will get inside without caring about other things. std out dot write mat ji plus this thing. Okay, let me just write the indices here as well. 0, 1, 0, 1, 2. Easy for visualization. Okay, so we get inside, we will just print it out on the screen. Mat of ji. What does this stand for? Mat of blindly copy the value 0, 0. J and I are both 0. So which is the value I'm talking about? Row 0, column 0, this value. So I will just print it out on the screen, right? I will just print it like this. Let me just find a safe space. let's let's start printing here. Okay. Then what? I will go here, J plus plus, J will become 1. 1 is also less than 2. 1 is also less than 2. I will just get inside. Once I get inside, what is my job? Print out mat of Ji. So mat of J is 1 now. I is still 0. So first row, or you can say 1th row and this particular column, this value. This is what I want to print. Let's just print that. I will go back to this place, J plus plus, J will become 2 now. 2 is not less than 2. So you will be just, just thrown out of the for loop. And where will you go now? You will come here. And ultimately, because of this, you will go here. Then I plus plus, just increase the value of I will become 1. And then what? 1 less than M. M is 3. 1 less than 3. Yes, it is. Just get inside. Okay. No more discussion. Let me just clear the clutter from here. Okay. You get inside. This is the code that you have to execute. I think now you know what it does, but still, let me just repeat the whole thing. J is equal to 0, J less than n, J plus plus. Okay. Let's just start the calculation for J once more. J is equal to 0. 0 is less than n, right? 0 is less than 2. So let's just get inside. What is it that we have to print? Let me just clear these things as well. What do we want to print? Mat of Ji. 0, 1. Okay. So 0, 1. This element. That is what we want to print. Let's print it and move on. J plus plus. J will become 1. 1 is also less than 2. Get inside. Let's just do the job, right? Mat of Ji. So mat of 1 and what is the value of I? 1. Okay, let's just print it. 1, 1. This element 4. Okay, then what? We will again go here. J plus plus, J will become 2. 2 less than 2. 2 is not less than 2. So you will be thrown out of this loop. You will come here. And once you reach here, that is actually the end of the whole thing. So you will go to the beginning of this for loop. What is it that you do there? I plus plus, I will become 2 now, right? 2 is also less than 3. So don't worry about other things. Get inside. Okay. Let me just clear the clutter once more. Clear all the extra stuff that we have here, right? J will again start from 0. Okay. J is equal to 0. J less than n. Yes, 0 is less than 2. So let's get inside. What do we want to print? Mat of Ji. Mat of 0, 2. Row 0, column 2. So the value 20 will be printed as a result. We just use green color to print output, right? And then what? I will do J plus plus here. J will become 1. Okay, J plus plus. I will get inside because 1 is less than 2, right? This condition is true. 1 is less than 2, right? I will get inside. Mat of Ji. So mat of 1, 2. So this row, this column, this element, right? So 6 will be printed, right? This is the output that we have so far. Just marking it. Okay. Then what? Again, you will go here. J plus plus. J will become 2. 2 less than 2. No. 2 is not less than 2. So we'll go here. Then as a result, we will just get back here. I plus plus. I will become 3 now. What is the condition? I less than M. 3 less than 3 will be checked this time. 3 is not less than 3. So you will be thrown out of this for loop also. So you will be reaching here, which is the end of your function, right? What is the final result that you are left with? 192426. 192426. That is what we wanted. That is what we got. So are we absolutely 100% clear with this whole discussion. The dry run was just an addition on top of the actual explanation that I've already done, right? The dry run was just supposed to like help you better with understanding this. Okay. So explanation was already over. We have seen that this code works. So just launching a poll to understand that now you understand what the logic was, how we proceeded, and the fact that it works and why it works, how it works, everything. Respond. Jaldi, jaldi, like answer fast because Chirag also has to take your doubts now, right? Acha, before I like hand it over to Chirag, just a second. These are the questions that are left now, right? So alternate matrix sum, very easy question. Alternate matter matrix traversal, very easy question. So I would just give you hint for all these problems. Alternate matter matrix traversal. In this, what you have to do is alternate manner means the elements of the odd rows will be printed from left to right, even rows from right to left. If you want to go from left to right, you will go from index 0 till m. I'm assuming that m is the number of columns. So from 0 to m, you will go if you want to print from left to right. And you will come from m minus 1 to 0 if you want to print in the right to left manner. Right? So this is the hint for that. From this point, just try constructing it. You can take hints from the printing array. If you need some coding help, you can take it from the printing array code that we have done, right? Whether I share the notes with you or not, you anyways have the recording, okay? So no excuses there. Anyways, what is the other question that I wanted to discuss? Alternate matrix sum we have. Yeah, this is also something we wanted to discuss. You are given a basically you are given a matrix, some of the columns. It's like a chessboard, white, black, white, black. That is what you have to assume. And in this case, it is a n cross n matrix, right? So it has the same number of rows and same number of columns. 3 rows, 3 columns. 4 rows, 4 columns. You have a matrix like that, right? And one column is black, other is white. Then other is black, other is white. This is how it goes on. What you have to do is you have to take the sum of all the white columns. You have to take the sum of all the white elements and all the black elements, right? So make two variables, keep taking sum for that. How will you identify whether a given column, whether a given element is black or white? This is the hint I'm giving. It has something to do with the row index and the column index. To go even further with this hint, you can see the relationship between the sum of column index and row index and the color of that particular element, right? So basically do one thing, do it on pen and paper, right? Just draw a 3 by 3 matrix for visualization. Draw a 3 by 3 matrix for visualization, and what you will observe is top left square is black, right? So this is black, this is going to be white, this will be black, this is going to be white, this will be black, white, this will be black, white, this will be black. So what are the indices? 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. There is a relationship between row index plus column index and the color. You will observe it. So I'm just writing it here also. 0 plus 0, 0, 0 plus 1, 1, 0 plus 2, 2, 0, 1 plus 0, 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 1 plus 2, 3, 2 plus 0, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 2 plus 2, 4. There is a relationship between the row index plus column index. This is related to the color of the particular element. So this is the hint that I wanted to give you. And now I would hand it over to Chirag, sir. Okay. Just a second. Yes. I'll just make you the host. You can rename yourself. Okay. You can continue from this point on.
Yeah,
Chirag?
sure. Hey, brother. Sure. I'll do that.
Yeah, I guess Rakhi has a
Um,
doubt. Maybe you can just take it up.
yeah, I'll just change my name quickly and we can have it. All right. So, yeah, let's see. All right. Okay. So you guys can post your doubts here, all right? I'll be open to that. And yes, I can't see any doubts at the moment in the Q&A section. So, all right, let's see. All right. Please feel free to add your queries to the chat section. All right. So, yeah, you can shoot up your questions now. I'm available for that, and I hope you have had a nice lecture. It wasn't too heavy, so we can bear for another 15-20 minutes. So, yeah, all right. Feel free to ask your questions. All right. Rakhi, as Bhavya mentioned that you had a query, so please feel free to add your query to the chat section or the Q&A section, okay? Whichever you're comfortable with. Okay. At the moment, I can't see any questions. So, okay, Abhishek. All right. So I'll be taking, just to inform you about this, I'll be taking your doubts after the lecture every day. Okay. And I can access the chat section and the Q&A section for the meeting. So yeah, please feel free to add your queries. How to manipulate 2D array in Java. Okay. Raki, can you please be a bit specific about what do you mean by manipulation? Because it would depend on what question you are doing. All right. So if you just want to change your values, let's say I'll take a very simple example. Let's say we have an n by n matrix, and from that you want to change the value for the second row and the third column. Okay, something like, I'll just write it down in the chat section as well. Matrix row 3 column 2. So you can just simply set that value like this. All right, this is how you can do it. Okay, so the technique would remain the same for all the languages. Okay, the syntax would differ, only that will be the case. And if you mean about any of the swapping operations, then of course I discussed that yesterday as well. There's an operation called as the swapping operation, swap. Okay, that means you're interchanging two values with each other. Okay, so, and this anonymous attendee, I can see, I understand the working of code, some issue with the code. Okay, you can share which question you're talking about. All right, we can discuss that accordingly and write it down in the chat section. So, uh, Rakhi, you can speak up if you want to. You can unmute yourself and you can ask your query. Okay. So I've given you the permission to talk. All right.
Sir, hello sir, I want to ask that how we can change the value.
I think I've written it down in the chat section. Can you see it or not?
No sir.
Acha, you can't see it. Then I'll just share my screen quickly. Okay, just give me a minute. So, be it Java or be it JavaScript, let me just quickly change my folder as well. I'll get this sorted. I don't know why you guys can't see my this thing in the chat section. So I'll just get this sorted. Don't worry. Okay. So yeah, let's suppose I'm having a matrix like this. Okay, matrix. I'm just writing a pseudo code quickly for this. Okay, I'll just tell you how to change this value 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, let's suppose this is my first row of the matrix, and wait a minute, similarly I have 5 more rows. Okay, 2 3 4. Okay, I hope you can get this matrix. Rakhi, I hope you can.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's suppose for the second row and the third column, I want to change my value to 100. All right, let's just suppose that. So I'll just do it like this: mat 2, 3 will be equal to 100. Simple as that. Okay, this is how we'll be changing the value. And this will be consistent across all the languages. Okay. There might be any other method for that in other languages, but this should always work. Okay, because if you see, matrix is more like an, not more like an, it is a 2D array only, array inside an array. Okay, so you can always access it by the rules you use for accessing a simple array. Okay, so that will always work. Okay,
So,
so
sir, I have another doubt
go on.
that how can I verify a 2D array using
Mhm.
when 2D arrays are equal using reoccurrence?
Uh, I didn't get your question. You want to verify whether the 2D arrays are same or not, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first things first, okay? So for that, firstly, you'll have to check whether their sizes are same or not. Okay. That'll be, let's suppose I have mat. Okay. This is my current matrix, and I have another another 2D array, which is equal to it. Okay. Let's for a moment, let's just think that this is equal to that. Okay. We are taking a simple example in this case. Okay. So I'll give you a approach for this firstly. Okay. Firstly, you will have to check what is the number of rows. Okay. Mat dot length. Uh, then you will have to check how many columns you have. Okay. That you can check by mat zero dot length. Okay. Is this part clear to you or not?
Sir, can you enlarge this part? Actually, it is too small for me.
Okay, just give me a minute. Wait, I'll have to see if the zoom in is possible or not. Well, I don't think in this case that will be possible. Just give me a minute. Okay, let me just switch to another compiler then, because we are not writing the exact code. Okay, so we can switch to another compiler for the moment, because the approach would remain the same. Okay, I don't know why this is not happening. Don't worry, I'll get a setup for this because I wasn't actually told previously, so I didn't get that much time for the setup properly today. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now. Rakhi, can you please respond quickly?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, no problems. Okay. So we are having this, okay, and this is my actual matrix and this is my new matrix X. Okay, let me check. I think I have another question. Control plus, no, that's not working. That's not working. Let me just do that again. Yeah, that's not working. I did that using that only, that shortcut key. So you can use control plus. Wait a minute, let me just do that again. Okay, yeah, now it's possible. All right. Okay. So we'll have a JS file only. All right. So n is my length and m is my number of columns. Okay. Length means the number of rows in this case. Okay. Because if you're checking mat dot length, you're actually checking the number of rows in the matrix. Okay. And if you're checking the length for matrix at index 0, that means you're checking what is the length for the first row of a matrix. Okay. That means the number of columns. Okay. So this is for the first one. Next, we'll do the same process for x. Okay. X dot length and x0 dot length. Okay. So now if it happens n is not equals to a or boolean or, okay, b is not equals to m, all right, then we can say that they are not same. Okay. I hope this part is clear to everyone. Please respond yes or no in the chat section, including Rakhi.
So,
Yes or no? Still waiting.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because if the sizes of the two matrices are different, okay, then it's pretty sure that of course they'll be different because the sizes are different, so the values don't really matter. Okay, next, if I just want to check now whether the now if this condition is done, okay, then it means that the sizes are same. So the first criteria is fulfilled, that the sizes for both the matrices are same. Now I want to check the values, okay, whether the values are same or they are different. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just run a nested for loop again. Okay, let I is equals to 0, I is less than n, I is equals to I plus 1. Okay, for let j is equals to 0, j is less than m, j plus plus. Okay, I'm not writing j is equals to j plus 1 because I'm hoping everyone's aware of this syntax, that in any language you can write j is equals to j plus 1 like j plus plus. Okay, both of these mean the same. Okay, this j is equals to j plus 1 and j plus plus, both of them have the same meaning. Okay, so this is a shortcut key for writing increment of 1. Okay, you can use it like a shortcut key, so you can do it like this here as well, I plus plus. Okay, this is same as I is equals to I plus 1. Okay, so I'm writing it as I plus plus. Okay, this will be my nested for loop. Okay, now the only step left for me is to compare the corresponding values. I is my row number. Okay, current, the rows will be 0 index. Okay, total number of rows are n, so I need to go from 0 to n minus 1, 0 to n minus 1. Okay, similarly for columns I need to go from 0 to m minus 1. Okay, I just forgot to add the comment sign, 0 to m minus 1. All right, because m is my total number of columns, and because they are 0 index, so they'll go from 0 to m minus 1. Okay, now what I need to do is I just need to compare the corresponding values. That I can check by if else condition simply. So if I have the row number and the column number, okay, how will I access the ith the value in the ith row and the jth column? I can access it like this, matrix of row I and column j, because it's a 2D array. So I'll have to do this syntax. If it was a 1D array, then I would have done it like this, simply matrix of I. But because it's a 2D one, so I'm going for I, which specifies my row, and j, which specifies my column number. Simple as that. Okay, I hope this is clear to everyone till this point.
Yes, sir.
Okay, apart from Raki, does anyone else have any query? Because I can't see a lot of students today. I think you guys get tired after the class, so but no worries. Sir, does after selection the missed courses will be covered again from scratch or continue with current lectures? Okay. Does after selection, this you can ask from Bhavya only, because he'd have a better knowledge of this compared to me. Okay. This either you can ask Bhavya or you can ask your batch managers if you guys by chance you missed any of the lectures. So yeah. All right. So I'm accessing my current value. Now I just need to compare it with the corresponding value of the other matrix, which is X. Okay. So X, I, J. Okay. If they are equal, then of course that's not a problem. But if they are not, okay, what should I do in that case? I can simply just do, malab, if even at a single point I get a different value, then it is for sure that the matrices are different. Okay. Then what I need to do is I just need to do console.log matrices are different. Okay. And I can add a return statement at the end. I just want my code to end at this point. Simple as that. Okay. So yeah, this would depend upon what have they asked. There might be a possibility that they have asked in the form of a Boolean. So you can have a Boolean flag at the beginning. Okay. Let's initialize it to true. We are assuming that the matrices are same at the moment. If they'd be different, what I'll do is I'll just do flag is equals to false and I'll do a break operation. Okay. And similarly here I'll do flag is equals to false and we'll do a break operation. Simple. Okay. And then outside my loops, outside my nested for loop, I can simply return flag. Simple as that. Okay, this is how we'll be proceeding that. Another thing which students get uncomfortable with is that, sir, why have you added this twice here? Okay, when I had set it to false and I have set it to break, then why am I adding a break statement here again? Okay, because when I'm adding a flag statement here, setting it to false and then breaking, then I'm breaking out of the nested loop. Okay, the second loop, which is for the columns. Okay, this loop, the outside loop, this will still proceed. Okay, because what will happen is, let's suppose I was in the second row. Okay, total number of rows are 100. Okay, for the second row at any of the column, I get the value as false. I break out of it. Okay, I'll come out of this loop, but again, this loop won't end because I've only traversed till I is equals to 2. So for the rest 98 rows, I still need to process that. Okay, the code will not know that I've already had a flag false. Okay, so I need to specify it here. If I've had a flag of false, then there's no point of traversing the rest 98 rows as well. I can simply just break out of this loop as well. Okay, and I can return my flag. All right, or you can have that console statement which I did. Okay, that would depend on the question, but the main logic is this thing. You just need to compare the corresponding values of the two matrices. Okay, this is how this will work. This is the exact code for it. Okay, this logic. If matrix of ij is not equals to x of ij, x is the other metric. Let's give a better name to this. S mat. Okay, second matrix. I've just given a short form. I'm not good at names, so please spare me on that. So yeah, let's just not focus on the names and probably focus more on the logic. All right, so this is how we'll be doing this. Okay, yeah, and okay, I suppose this is how we'll be solving this question. Do I have any other questions? I hope, Raki, your query is satisfied now. You don't have any problems with this code. If you have anything, you can ask.
No, sir. In this, I have satisfied. My doubt is clear, but I have one
Mhm.
last doubt that
Go
and
on.
that how to how we can retrieve the class name of an array. I want to ask that.
Class name of an array.
Yes, sir.
Well, can you please be a bit more specific because I'm not able to understand what you're trying to say. There's, can you please be a bit more specific in what context you're asking that? Because as of now, I don't know if that's in class name would this what I can see is that this comes somewhere from the HTML project or something. Is that so? You're building a project or
Yes.
something like that.
No, sir.
Yeah.
In only a Java or Java
JavaScript or Java?
JavaScript.
Well, class name would not exist for this thing. Class name is a feature of HTML. It's an HTML property. Okay. Like when you are having any input or anything like that. So from that, you extract the class name. For matrices, I don't think any such thing as class name exists. Let me just check it once again. Might be a possibility that I'm wrong. Just give me a minute. Java. Let me just check it. Hmm. No. That as I said, that this comes out from the HTML part of the code. So specifically for DSA, I don't think any such thing as class name exists. Or there might be a you might be asking this in reference to some particular question. So that is why you're probably unable to explain. But as of my knowledge, nothing called as class name exists for the JavaScript array. Okay, just the JS array.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Okay, sir. Tomorrow I will clear my doubt after
Hmm.
going through the question. Well,
Just go through it once again and probably you can send it across to me because today though I think we are up on time. We started 5-10 minutes late as well, but tomorrow we can discuss on this. Okay. Please be, you can read that question. And you can share it to me tomorrow. Okay. We'll check it in the class. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm unable to understand what you're trying to ask. Okay. So we can check it from the question only. Chalo. ठीक है? I hope everyone's had a great lecture. Do revise whatever's been taught in the class. Revision is a very important part. As you progress in DSA, you'll be studying more and more topics. Okay. So do not get too much involved in your lectures that you forget to revise the previous content. Okay. So keep up with the revision pace as well. Okay. Abhi though you are on the very beginning stage, so you have not studied that many topics, but as you progress, there'll be a lot of topics and you'll have to prepare a revision schedule for you as well. Okay. So please keep solving questions, do the assignments on time, and keep on revising them as well. Okay. Because revision is very important. It might be a possibility that you're able to solve some question now, but if you do not practice it, then probably after, let's say, 3 months, you will forget that. Okay, how you had solved that. Okay. So the revision part is very important and try to do it on your own. In DSA, it is very important that you do things on your own. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. And the complexity of that checking code, that will be n square. Not n square, that will be n into m. If the size of the matrices are the same, that is, it has n rows and n columns, it is a square matrix, then complexity is n square. But if you are having different number of columns and rows, then the complexity would be number of rows into number of columns. Okay. So that will be the complexity of the code.
So,
Complexity is another important aspect of DSM. So please be aware of that. Yeah, go on, Raki.
sir, how we can find a duplicate array using hash set?
Duplicate array using
Duplicate
hash set.
element. Sorry.
Using hash set. Again, I can discuss that, but I don't think they have taught this to you till now. Currently, you're on arrays, so let's not move.
Okay,
It's
sir.
a
Okay,
very,
sir.
this topic will come after a lot of other topics. Firstly, you'll study recursion, Abhi. Then you'll go for some other data structures, stacks or queues probably. Then we'll come on to hash sets. Okay. So what happens in a set is, I'll just give you a brief overview of that. What happens in a set is that you can insert a value only once. So if a value is already present in the set, then you know, and you're trying to insert it again, then you know that if it's already present in a set, then you have got a duplicate value now. Because if it's already present in the set, that means there would have been that value in the array at a previous index. So this current index value which you're trying to push, this is a duplicate of that. Okay. So this is how you figure out how to have that duplicate values. Okay. This is a very high level discussion for this, but once all the students are able to understand this concept, then we can discuss these questions. Okay. So that will be a long time from now. Okay. So
Okay,
be
sir.
patient. Currently, at the moment, just try to study what Bhavya has been teaching you. He's a great mentor. So just follow whatever he's saying. Okay. Sure.
Sir, where we get recorded lecture and notes?
Again, as I said, for any course related queries, things like this, lectures where you can access and pay after placement payments and all those schemes, this either you can ask Bhavya or you can ask your batch managers. Okay, they have a much better idea than me. All right. So yeah, feel free to ask them. All right. Chalo. ठीक है, I'm ending this lecture now. Happy learning, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great time. Chalo.